Hello, my name is Mrs. Melanin, and I don't know what episode this is.
This is episode 230.
Hello, my name is Mrs. Melanin.
And I'm Beleaf Mel.
You cut me off. I'm sorry. It's because
Is it
I
my
forgot.
fault? Really? Let's think about it.
Okay,
Was that my fault?
Hold on.
This is a marriage moment.
I received that. It was my fault. My apologies. I got it wrong. But you didn't have to cut me off. You could have just been like, hey, babe, that's not how it goes.
But solely, it's your fault. I did my part.
Hello, my name is Mrs. Melanin.
And I'm Beleaf Mel.
And we're here with episode 230 of
How Married Are You? Okay, my name is Beleaf. This is Yvette. We married 14
years.
Live in California. We got four relationships. Scary. It's very necessary. We share our love of struggles. We ask how married are you? Every Tuesday and Thursday sometimes. If you're listening, you're in a wedding party. It's okay if you want to put your hands up. You got the questions. We got the answers.
It's chocolate baby story time.
Chocolate baby story time. It's chocolate
baby story time.
1, 2, 3, and
it's chocolate baby story time.
What you got, babe? What you got?
Guys, I don't know if I should be sharing this on the internet, but I think that Uzziah has a dark side.
You're just finding this out?
Well, yeah, I guess you guys might already be aware of this, but the other day, oh man, I forgot what he said, but it was something like death. But it was so like inappropriate and morbid that I was like, what?
Yeah.
So, maybe Children's Hospital's calling me.
They must want money.
Decline.
So, yeah, like, so he was doing a thing where he just was like, he is very, I wouldn't say morbid, but he's dramatic in an adventure type of way.
No, babe, he's dark. The child is dark.
Yeah.
Like, I love him.
He's threatened to kill several people in the house.
His ideas are like, whoa, buddy, like, where are you getting that from? And honestly, I don't know if it can come from, like, things he's watched. He has seen a couple of Marvel movies and things, but it's like, I don't know.
No, I think it's either like, it's so interesting because Uriah's default was, and that's why I'm going quiet, right? Uzi's default is, and I'm going to punch him in the face, right? And I'm going to kill him, right?
Yeah.
He does have that. I don't know if it's a dark side. I think he's just a boy, right? And adventurous, because a lot of the stuff he's watching is like Transformers, Marvel, you know what I mean? Like a lot of the stuff where it's kind of like there's no in between. Like people just be dying all the time, you know what I'm saying? And one punch puts a person out and you won't see him anymore. But I took the kids to the movies to see Transformers, which was a freaking phenomenal movie. The latest one that came out, crazy, 2024. It's like a cartoon animated general. It was super dope. Had such a great time. And we were sitting in the line, like going to get like the concession stand, and I let them like bring their own money and buy the stuff that they wanted. And so I was like, what do you guys want? And Uzi was like, I want gummy bears. You know what I'm saying? And Anaya was like, I want, and the person was sitting there, and it was like this really like long, awkward moment, awkward pause. And she started to panic because of like the suspense and was like, I'll just take a hug. And asked me for a hug. And I was like, okay.
What?
Yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh, she panicked and hugged me. That was insane.
She got anxiety because the person was waiting so long?
It was like we were just sitting there all looking at her like, what do you want? You know what I mean? She just was like, I'll just take a hug. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I was like, she'll take gummy bears. And I gave her a hug. It was hilarious. It was so funny.
That is hilarious.
All right, we're back. We're not because we want to sell you something, but I do have a quick promo. Man, the Hope Collection drops today. Okay, it's Thursday, October 17th, and we are so excited to have this collection for you, right?
It's the Hope Collection. Who could use a little bit of hope right now?
Right. So the designs that we have made were created by our in-house graphic designer, RJ, who has really done an amazing job for us for several years. RJV Collectives on Instagram. So incredible. And so he's been doing our merch for a long time. He's such a creative person. His wife and him are such a great team. But really, it's all inspired by stuff that we've done, right? So we have one of our designs is Change is Good, which I'm rocking right now. Tabitha Brown was also rocking this joint. We sent out a PR package to some influencers and some people that we love. And, you know, we didn't send as much as we used to because we're trying to get back into the swing of things with this merch. But man, we had this Change is Good shirt because we did change our lives, right? We had some things happening in our lives that, you know, we weren't really excited about how our life was going, right? I was turning into this, you know, agency CEO business person who was managing more people than I was creating. And Yvette was a single mother staying home, homeschooling, and we had this like separate situation. I can't really speak for you, but I'm just saying, right? Neither of us liked how we were living, right? So we decided to change our lives. We moved to a farm and got extremely uncomfortable. Extremely. Y'all, it's so crazy here, and I want to share it, but you know how like you're in the middle of it and you're kind of like, you're just like, what the heck is this?
You're just surviving.
Yeah.
That's not a good
No, surviving isn't accurate. No. I would say that we are rolling with the punches and solving problems. Yeah. So there's always a problem to solve, and you know, but it has been good. We have grown as a family. We have figured out that, you know, we don't need as much as we thought we did, but we will appreciate it when we get it. Hallelujah, right? So, amen. So I believe that change is a good thing, and even though sometimes we're inconsistent, just know that we are prioritizing the things that are most important, and that's why you guys rock with us. That's why you guys appreciate us and love us, because though we may be inconsistent at times, we're consistent in the things that we cannot drop, which is being a husband, being a wife, being a child of God, amen. Being fathers, mothers, friends. Like, we're trying to keep the things that we cannot drop up, you know. And so I would hate to be a very, very rich, lonely man, you know. And so change is good. Right, change is good. And I just want to recap. I don't know if we got an update from the guy from episode 228 with he was like juggling his fiance and his best friend. But I think, you know, in the comment section, and we posted a joint on Instagram, and it was like so many people were very, you know, oh, real quick, before I move on to that, make sure you go to shop.beliefinfatherhood.com to purchase the Hope Collection, available right now. shop.beliefinfatherhood.com. That's where you can get the shirts. It's only on sale from the 17th today until the 22nd of October. Okay, and we're celebrating 9 years of Belief in Fatherhood, which it started on October 19th, 2015. Okay, so speaking of change is good, right? That boy who was going through that, I'm sorry, call him a boy. That man who was going through that situationship where he was like, dang, man, I really want to be there for my best friend. I don't feel like my fiance would make me choose, right? Right? That is a young man's decision, right? And I think it's okay if he gets it wrong right now and is very confused by that. I think the comment section took it a little hard on him. I think that's what, you know, we need to be able to do as people, is give people time to grow. Now, he could very well be in love with his best friend. We don't know. You know what I'm saying? But the truth is, like, you need time to figure that out. That doesn't come so easy for everybody. I think that, you know, movies and the way things are scripted makes us believe that it should be very simple and we should just know to choose what the right thing to do is. But some people have a hard time thinking. There was a series. There was who's in here? There was a period in our relationship. I had a hard time thinking and doing the right thing with Yvette, right? I didn't know what the right thing to do was, even though I should always choose her. When am I choosing her and not choosing myself? And when do those two things compete? You know, because I do think that is a conversation that we need to have. But yeah, I just wanted to give a little bit of light for episode 228, even though it's been so long. And there is no update, right?
No.
Right.
Should we email him back and be like, how's it going?
You start talking to Mike, babe.
Should we email him back and say is it going?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, let's see if he has any updates. I'm very curious about that. So.
Okay. I will make sure to do that. Will you remind me?
Yeah. How are you doing? You good?
I'm doing all right. I feel like, well, you caught me in a 2-day stride, you know? You know how like some days you just get it and then other days you don't. But I think it's very accurate what Glenn said as far as rolling with the punches. I feel like that has been our existence for the past several months. It feels like every morning I wake up and I'm under something versus on top of something.
That was sexual. That was so sexual.
When I said it out loud, I was like, oh,
Okay.
wait a minute now.
What you trying to be under or on top of? Because it's
Only
all
you, babe.
Well, that's the
Only
thing.
you.
It's like it's your decision. You could literally wake up and get on top if you wanted to, and nobody would stop you.
Lord Jesus. What I meant was, I feel like I wake up and I'm trying to catch up with like the day.
Yeah.
I'm in a deficit versus like flourishing. And so,
I challenge you to try that though.
to be
Like,
on top
wake
of
up
you,
and
just get on top of you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just get on top.
I'll do it tomorrow.
All right.
I don't know what I'll do tomorrow.
Friday morning
That'll be my workout.
will be. So what are you doing tomorrow morning? You understand? That's what's gonna happen.
Okay. I'm trying to give an update.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
It's been a lot of adjustments for me. And I don't know if I've already shared this, but we moved out here to this farm. We are so far away from friends and family. And it is just us. And it actually is like so sweet. Like I really do enjoy the closeness that we seem to be developing even deeper as a family, because I feel like we were always together anyway. But there's a certain level of intimacy that I feel like we are achieving by being out here. Also, though, we don't have the support that we usually have.
Yeah.
And so I don't have a nanny anymore. And everything feels like it's all on me as far as the kids' education and all things kids, which I'm a mom. He's a dad. Like that's just how it's supposed to be. But I feel like I'm still trying to find my stride and my groove. And because I am who I am, it feels like I should have figured it out by now. And so I'm just learning how to practice grace for myself, because I feel like I'm able to extend a lot of grace outwardly, but I don't necessarily give it back to myself internally. And yesterday, I feel like I had a really good day of doing that. We had to file for an extension.
We're getting on it. You had to.
Well, anyways, yesterday I feel like I did a good job. There was some things that I needed to like take time to do and all the things. And like, I feel like because yesterday was one of those mornings where I woke up early, I worked out, I showered, I fed myself. Like I started the day, I had some quiet time with the Lord. Like I journaled. I started out good. And so when the day started coming at me, I feel like it didn't disrupt my nervous system like it has been usually doing. And so it was one of those days where I really could practice what I preach as far as release, rest, and remain. And it was one where I was like very aware of what I can and cannot do, like my capacity, and I operated in that. And so, you know, we just take it one day at a time and we move forward with I don't know, with something, but with each other.
Yeah.
I feel like life is so much better with Glenn and these children of mine. But yeah, I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. And I am just trying to make the next right decision.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Is somebody in here?
Yes. Come in here. Come here.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. So, yeah. Okay. Awesome.
All right. So I have questions. Guys, we're getting somewhat organized here. We have topics. So we have divided all the episodes or the emails we have not answered into topics of dating, entrepreneurship, family drama, marriage, newlyweds, parenting, and singlehood. What do you feel like talking about?
Oh, let's go. Let's see what we can do. Let's see. What is that? Potential podcast topics? What's that?
So this is it. So
okay.
these are the ones we've answered,
Got it.
and then these are the different topics.
Let's go dating.
Dating has a
It's
lot.
24. Goodness
there.
gracious.
And some of them are from last year. We apologize. Should we start from the bottom and work our way up?
Please, please, please help grieving boy boyfriend.
Oh, okay. Let's do that
That
one.
pops up.
Okay. Hi. Firstly, thank you both for all that you do. Having this space for people to reach out for real advice is so amazing and practical. Okay, so here it goes. I am a 23-year-old Christian woman who has always wanted a husband, kids, the whole 9 yards. I also saw this lifestyle being modeled for me by my parents and people I grew up with in church. It seemed like the norm for me. Do all the right things and you should be married off and having kids by the time you are 25, lol. But unfortunately, that bubble was popped about a year ago when my dad left our family and my mom very suddenly and inexplicably. Wow. It all happened very fast and was very traumatizing since my dad and I already had quite a few issues. He has since tried to reconcile with my mom and is saying he wants to work on being a husband and father. I am currently in the process of forgiving him, but it's a very raw situation for me. Fast forward to last summer when I met an amazing guy through a mutual friend. So me and this guy meet, also 23, at a concert, and I kid you not, he says during our first conversation, I am going to wife you. I laughed it off, but honestly, throughout our relationship, I became more and more convinced he was being totally serious that day. We started dating and things moved fairly quickly, in a good way, in my opinion. Everything seemed to be checking out and I was absolutely in love. Mind you, like most relationships, there were things to be worked through. Firstly, he has a very close female friend that I don't love. I did bring this up to him that it makes me a bit uncomfortable, and he said he understands, but since we were only dating 6 months at the time, felt it would be unreasonable for them to stop being friends since they have known each other since childhood. Again, I was slightly uncomfy, but it really seemed like they had a friendship very similar to the friendship I have with my brother, so I chose to let it go. Secondly, he does not go to church as often as I do. I am a weekly church goer, but he is more of a once a month-ish kind of guy. Although this is not a big deal for me, it sometimes made me wonder if that would mean I would have to be the spiritual leader in a marriage with him, and whether or not that is okay or biblical. Anyways, besides these couple of things, everything was perfect, and I had very little doubt that he was the man I wanted to marry. Do you have any comments so far? Because this is a long email.
I'm tracking.
Okay. Around 6 months of us dating, we had a more in-depth conversation about our future. This is the part where I messed up. Due to a lot of the past traumas with my dad, I have a tendency to push men away, almost as a way for them to prove how much they love me. It's messed up, I know, but I think it's my way of protecting myself or something. So during this conversation, let's just say I was less than gracious about my perspective. Think ring in 2 years or I'm out type behavior. At the time, I didn't even notice what I was doing, but I know that he took a lot of things I said during that very seriously. We left that talk in a place of we will come back to it and moved on. Shortly after, he unfortunately found out his dad had stage 4 cancer. At first, he seemed very hopeful about the whole situation and didn't mention it often, so I kind of took his lead on that. But slowly, over the course of 2 months, his father's condition got worse and worse. As his father's health was declining, it seemed like communication and our relationship in general was fizzling out on his end. For example, one day he called to talk and we ended up talking about our marriage conversation, and he said some things along the lines of, I don't know if I'm ready for this, and you seem to be very set on a certain timeline I'm not sure I can get on board with. And my favorite, maybe we took things too fast. Ouch. Afterwards, he said he was in a bad mood because of his dad and was just overthinking. We were not seeing each other or talking much at this point either. To be clear, I am a people person. I love supporting others, and I do think it is something I am gifted at. So it was painful when he was going through such a horrible event and I was not able to be there for him because I was being stonewalled. Every conversation we had was dry, and it really seemed like he didn't want to be around or talk to me. So there came a point where I kind of just said, hey, it seems like you need some space right now, which is completely fine, but you just have to communicate with me. So he eventually said yes, just going through a lot and needs some space to process everything that was going on. At first, I took this really personal and was like, oh, so we are breaking up? But then I tried to have more empathy and trusted that he just needed some space because I cannot even imagine what he is going through. Unfortunately, a week to the day after that conversation, his father passed away. Now this is where I need help. Firstly, him and I had not spoken since the whole space thing. but I assumed that he would at least text me about his dad's passing. Also considering his parents were like parents at this point with everything going on with my family. Yet, I found out that his dad passed away from an Instagram post, which was very strange. I sent both him and his mom a message offering my condolences. Then about 3 days later, he posts his dad's funeral and visitation details on Instagram. Again, which I found strange. But in my mind and heart, this is the man I am still in love with, so I want to be there to support him. So I sent him a text to say I was planning on coming to the funeral to support him, and he said no. His reasons for this were because he didn't want the stress of his extended family meeting me, and he really wanted to focus on grieving his dad and just really needs space. Him saying no broke my heart. Not just broke it, shattered it. Even his mom texted me the funeral details, and I had to tell her that I was not going to come out of respect for his son's wishes. I'm sorry because I know I gave you a lot of details, but I have no freaking idea what to do. I'm so in love with this man. He is my first love and truly the person I thought God had for me. But would the person that God has for me treat me like this? I also really want to apologize for pressuring him so unfairly, but how do I do that if he's insisted on space? We haven't talked since the funeral thing 1 week ago, but I really don't know if I have it in me to reach out to be rejected by him again. I have been taking this time apart to try and focus on me as much as possible. But what if a couple of weeks go by and he still doesn't reach out? Glenn, why are you guys like this? LOA. LOL, JK. Please, please, please help. Love, Miss Brokenhearted.
And it's so sad.
It's so sad, and I hate that we're so late.
Chocolate Baby story time. Come on in, Anizai. That's a 9. The purple.
Albuterol's in the medicine cabinet.
She needs.
Is she
that's in
leaving?
the morning. Just in the morning. Yeah. I don't trust her. I trust her. She has ulterior motives.
I feel like she does need some attention, though. I might try to plan a girls' weekend for us.
You need a whole weekend.
A whole weekend.
God, fine.
Grief is such a it's such a tough situation because I feel like we all grieve differently. Yeah. And why you say it like that?
It's a Kendrick Lamar verse thing you just said. You just said a bar from Kendrick Lamar. I grieve different. No.
Okay. And I don't, it's like there's no one size fits all for grief. And I think sometimes grief takes us all by surprise as well. Mm-hmm. I know that I have experienced it.
You had a boogie.
How married are you?
Well, if I would have let it sit there
I would have
all
been
episode.
You could have
just let the booger fill on my nose.
Lord Jesus. Like I said, we all grieve differently. He don't want to talk about grief. He wants to make humor about grief.
Oh, I want to talk about it. I'm just letting you get your whatever off.
No, but I'm just saying, I remember when, and I hope this doesn't trigger anything in you.
I'm good.
But I remember after Brittany, Glenn's sister, passed away, and his family, his entire Trinidadian family just came and stayed with us. And I'm not going to front. I am sometimes big emotions make me uncomfortable, but I do know how to hold space and show up in them. And so I'm kind of okay, what is my home about to be like when these people get here? Y'all, it was wild. They were doing practical jokes on each other. They were cracking jokes about each other. They were so inappropriately hilarious. And I realized for them, they just needed each other. They needed that. It was a beautiful thing to watch and observe and be a part of. And it was different for me. I was expecting lots of tears and very quiet, somber moments, but it was loud and laughter and it was joy in a very strange way. And I know there was sadness, sadness coexisted with it, but it was different. And then I do think that each of them individually probably had their moments of crying and all the things, but it was just whoa. And then for me, I needed to grieve, but I was trying to allow them to have their process that I postponed it to the point that at some point it kind of hit me. And I was like, I got to leave. And then I ended up leaving for 3 weeks without contact. But you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know. I feel like, and I was caught off guard by my grief. Like, I was really caught off guard. I didn't expect Brittany's death or passing to impact me the way that it impacted me. And I realized that it had a lot to do with other things. But yeah, I just feel like we all grieve differently. And it's like our therapist told us during that time, it comes in waves and you just kind of have to ride the wave, because sometimes you think you're fine and then something happens and you're like, oh shoot, why am I so emotional in this moment? And so for this situation, like he probably felt, I'm making an assumption because I know, and I don't know if this is true for you, Glenn, but I feel like sometimes when we're grieving and there's other people who want to be there for us, we feel responsible for them and their emotions. And so that in and of itself can be a burden and like just a weight that people don't feel like carrying. So rather than allowing you around or allowing you to be in this space, they would rather you just stay away. So that's not another layer of responsibility or feeling that they have to have, because they just want to be in their feelings, or we just want to be in their feelings. And I feel like for you, and I could be completely misreading the situation, but even like in allowing me to go away for 3 weeks, or like giving me your blessings somewhat. How are we going to talk about this? Because I don't know if you gave me your blessing. What would you call it?
Let's focus on you.
You gave me space.
Let's focus on you.
You gave me space to do what I needed to do
Yeah.
in my grieving process. But it was like, but for me, it's like, that's his sister. I knew it felt weird leaving him right after she passed away, but it was, I don't know. I don't really know how to talk about it, but I feel like there is sometimes when you're going through something and you have to feel responsible for someone else while they're trying to be there for you. It's just not, it's not lit. It's very whack. And so I imagine that that is what this young woman's boyfriend was feeling. And it's not that he doesn't love her or that he doesn't want to be in a relationship with her. It's just that he didn't have capacity at the time. And I think sometimes even when we are in relationship with people who are obviously feeling that way, it's okay to send a gentle reminder that like, I'm here. You know what I mean? Like, you don't necessarily have to be all up in their space. You can give them the space that they need, but there are ways to encourage and show them that you still love them and that you still care about them without overwhelming them. I think.
Sorry. Yeah, that was super interesting. One I think, you know, I don't know if it was triggering, you know what I'm saying, but it did, like I felt everything you said. Like it took me right back to that moment. And I don't know if being triggered is always a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? Because in just this very, you know, brief moment of reliving that experience as you described it from your perspective brought a lot of like joy and pain. You know what I'm saying? Which I feel like is a part of like what makes us human in a very beautiful way. It's like sometimes, you know, like we need that time of grieving and mourning so that we can feel, you know what I mean? Like it helps us feel human, right? Being sick helps us feel, reminds us that we don't have a lot of time and we need to treat our bodies better. So I appreciate the reminder, sweet, sweet reminder of those times. Cause I don't know a more tumultuous like time of my life with like those 3 months, right? From August to November, September, October, November, right? Yeah, so it was like mid-August to mid-November. Very sweet. So, you know, I want to say that here's just like a rule of thumb. Like, I think she did this to herself.
Say more.
I feel like, you know, unfortunately, this was, I'm not going to say, because I feel like it's not appropriate to call women crazy. I feel like it's not appropriate to do that, right? But I feel like this had crazy roots to say, hey, I'm going to push you away because I have this thing and I do this thing and I know it's wrong, right? I think that was kind of crazy to do. You know what I'm saying? Not knowing what was going to happen afterwards. Like, you can't control how he protects himself from the things that you put in front of him. You know what I'm saying? Because you admitted that this was wild. Like, this was wild. He had every right to say, now, I'm sure if he didn't have a grieving father, like a dying father to deal with, he probably could have had the grace and understanding to help you push through that. Like, that was very understandable. But we don't got time to play with people like that. Like, if this is somebody of value, your responsibility is to go get the help you need so you can treat the person the best that they need. Because now he's dealing with a new emotion he's never had to deal with before. He's having to process that while you come around as weight. You are not an anchor to hold him down and keep him solid. You are an anchor that he has to carrying while trying to keep afloat in a pool. He can't keep up with that. And you are heavy. And then to turn around and say, it broke your heart that he said no. Man, praise God, this man protected his peace. Like, as someone, like, I recognize that I married this woman. So whether she wanted to leave or not, or whether she needed that, I had to deal with that because that's the choice I made, right? If we were just dating and my sister died and she was like, I got to get out of here, I wouldn't have married her. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. I wouldn't have married you because I wouldn't know I wouldn't know the responsibility of a husband to say, I wouldn't know is the door closed? I wouldn't know the responsibility. No, stay here. I wouldn't know the responsibility of a husband to even know that I'm supposed to give you that space you need, even though I need you. Like, I didn't know how to do that. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think I could process all that at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, I'm having a hard time. Like, I wanted to be around this person more. I feel like there were so many different things keeping us apart, really just growing up. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't know what to do with these feelings. I'm glad I have the safety of my family so that we can all be weird and grieve together. But at the same time, like, I wish I knew how to do it better. If he knew, and if he had experience in grief and know how to do it better, you know what I'm saying? He probably would have had the grace to allow you to be weird, because that was weird behavior. You know what I'm saying? I don't think we understand how important getting help is. Now, I just want to say, you were justified in your protection of yourself and being like, I can't trust these men. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need to make sure that the timeline is appropriate because I need to make sure I'm not being played with. But I think you learned a lesson for the better. You know what I mean? Because I don't think that's an option anymore for you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That what is an option?
Like, to say it's 2 years or nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
You know, she said that before they found out about his
it
dad.
don't matter.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. Like, that is still like, there's a lot more easy ways to have this conversation.
To have the conversation about how
Hey,
long we're going to date before.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it serious can be like, hey, like, I do want to be with you. I know you want to be with me, but like, I'm just curious on like a timeline. You know what I mean? But but she admitted that it was wild behavior. You know what I'm saying? So if you're calling it wild behavior, I'm allowed to say that was wild. It's crazy. Don't do that. You know what I mean? Because it was only 6 months, correct?
Yes. I think I.
And it seems like, as a man, he seems like he kind of kept his word to you, you know, and said like, yo, I want to wife you. I don't really like that phrase. I hate that phrase, honestly, because saying I want to marry you and I want to wife you is two different things, right? Because it seems like I want to wife you was like, I want to treat you like my wife. You know what I mean? And like lock you down. You know what I'm saying? Marry you was like, no, I want to become your husband and do all the things that are necessary. And I wish that things worked out differently, but he didn't have the capacity, right, to like advocate for himself and hold space for you. At that moment in time, you didn't know it, but he probably would have needed you, like, just to be a supportive thing for him, just to be something for him to lean on. And it probably would have yielded a great result. You know what I'm saying? For your relationship. That's what I believe, you know. But if it came down to it and, you know, you guys were really struggling to communicate all together, you know what I mean? I think he spoke wisely in saying, you know what? This is not about you. It's not about me. Right now, I don't have somebody I've had my entire life. And I don't know what to do about that. And I feel like you're making it about yourself.
And honestly, I'm proud of him for even like acknowledging that I don't have capacity for this relationship right now because I just really need to focus on my grief and being there for my family. Therefore, and with my family.
Yeah. And a lot of men don't play they don't play like that.
What do you mean by that?
Like, I don't need a lot. But if I need you and you're not there for me, it's so simple.
Yeah.
I don't need that type of behavior. Oh my gosh. That is like, it's literally, it's no nuance. It's, hey, can you make me a sandwich real quick? I'm hungry. My hands are full of oil and I just changed the tire. Can I get a sandwich? I'm hungry. You make your own sandwich. No problem. I'm never doing, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's very, very simple because, you know, I would classify myself as somebody who I don't think I need much. You know what I'm saying? And I think he would probably say the same, like, nah, I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to be there for you. I'm going to do all these different things. And only thing I need right now is no pressure. And you can't even give me the, like, even when they were going through the thing, they ended up talking about the relationship. That's what she said. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, dang.
I know. I wish I could be like listen to that conversation and see how it went. Like who brought it up, you know?
Yeah.
Because that feels very irresponsible.
But yeah, but she said, this is what I remember. She said, it seemed like he was very hopeful. We ended up talking again, right?
Oh yeah.
Right. And we talked about the relationship. You know? Grief is so hard, y'all. It's so difficult. And I hope, you know, maybe there was grace there and he was able to come back and say, you know, like I was just going through a lot. But man, dudes be needing you, y'all. Men be needing y'all so much. And sometimes we don't necessarily know when we're going to need you. You know what I mean? But if I say, hey, I need you, like Yvette, I've told Yvette a few times, like, yo, I need you here. I need you to do this for me. And what was your response? Do you remember any of those times? Love you. Love you
I
so
feel
much.
I feel like I try to show up so much. I feel like I just got put on the hot seat.
No, there was a past though where it was kind of like, yo, I need you to do this, and you're kind of like, you'll be fine, and I'm like, no, you don't understand. And I don't know what I could have said differently. You know what I'm saying? Besides, I need you. You know, so I would just say, you know, ladies, if your man is telling you he needs you, or if he's saying that he can't take something, trust that man.
I have a question though.
Okay.
Because I am thinking about this situation and the fact that he's like, you know, I need space, right? And so space is different. Like I can give you space but still be in the same room as you. You know what I'm saying? So is there a way that she could have shown up for him or been there for him? And I'm saying this because I know we are months late on this episode and I'm going to email her back and see how it all turned out. Hopefully she's willing to respond. But like, cause I'm thinking about it from my perspective. And if that were me, I probably would have sent you meals or, sent you like a text message with a scripture of encouragement or, just giving you a gift card to do your favorite things or sent you a song that made me think of you or something like that. Like I would have done little things like that. And I don't know if that's respecting someone's wish for space, but also, you know what I mean? Like, how could she have given him space, but still hold space?
Yeah. I think it depends, you know. I have a friend of mine who was had an attempt on his life, was murdered. Well, they tried to kill him, and he got shot. Right, and he was entertaining, a few different, relationships. I believe at the time. I don't know, actually. Don't quote me on this.
Where is this going?
Don't quote me on this. But he was entertaining a few different relationships, but the person that was there for him while he was in the hospital was consistently coming by, cooking homemade meals and bringing him food, was checking on him. Even when other people would come and visit, they were still there by his side. And they ended up being the person that they married. You know what I'm saying? There's certain things that I may say I need space, and I do mean it. Like, leave me alone. Don't be a burden. But there's some things that just naturally I can't do for myself. Right? Like, I may be in the Wendy's parking lot chomping down the junior bacon with cheese when I probably could use a home cooked meal.
Nutritious.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you could provide that, like, food goes a long way. Right. I think, in those situations, I think that is like some things you got to find a way to make yourself valuable.
Yeah, because I feel like for me, like things that would really touch my heart is like curating a playlist of like songs that I know that you love and enjoy that bring you some joy. Be like, hey, whatever, or inviting you to go to the gym to work out some of the stress, or even just go on a walk.
See, I think that a lot of the things you're suggesting, if I'm just gonna be honest, because this is all hypothetical.
Things for me.
No, they're things that still require me to do something. Right.
Not necessarily like sending you a playlist. You just listen to it.
Right. That wouldn't. I mean, that'd be cool.
You wouldn't.
I wouldn't like it.
You wouldn't care.
I wouldn't care for it. You know what I'm saying? But I would say that, like, hey, honestly, there's some stress relieving massages like I would do for you. Hey, there's some stress relieving massages that would probably work for you. I've already paid for this. What time works? They're going to come by and set up and just give you a massage. You know what I'm saying? Or like, I made this food. Like, food it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Some people can't eat while they're grieving, hey, I paid for someone to come and clean your house. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like things like that.
For sure.
I noticed that your lawn wasn't cut, so I came through and did it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, those are good. But I mean,
hey, I paid for your next 3 haircuts. I paid your barber already in advance. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. Like,
because grooming can go out the window.
Yeah, because like a lot of that stuff is like when you're grieving, like you kind of lose your wits about yourself almost. I hated that time. This time sucked. I had to go right back to work. This is whack. And I'm truly like, I wish I cared better for myself during that time. I just didn't know how to do that and be a part of a family, But I do believe, it's so interesting because sometimes the role of a leader is that you go through it first and you learn how to do it better. I believe that, God forbid, you lose someone you love, I feel like I would know how to care for you during that time, hopefully. You know what I'm saying? Because of what I experienced. Not because you didn't do a good job, you know what I'm saying? But just because I'm like highly aware and sensitive to like the feelings I had. I just didn't know where to put them, That's tough. It's a tough one.
Yeah. So, Miss Brokenhearted, I think that if you're still in the relationship, obviously things worked out well and maybe you apologized for a lack of awareness, I would say, or a lack of insight. And he has forgiven you and, you guys have found a way to be in relationship, even because I believe he's still grieving. Like, this was only a few months ago. And there's going to be waves of grief that just kind of come and go. And so it's important that he is able to ride the wave and you are able to ride the wave. But if you are no longer in relationship with this fella, I hope that your heart is not as broken and that you have taken away some valuable lessons.
You so nice. You so nice.
I don't know. I'm just.
Yeah, I mean, like, you couldn't have ever expected for this thing to play
Yeah.
out the way it did.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it did. I think therapy will be really good for you because of what happened with your dad and the moves he chose to make.
Yeah.
I think obviously, your trauma spilled on this last relationship. I hope it doesn't do that, and you're able to not just contain it, but kind of sift through and filter what needs to be disposed of.
Yeah.
Seek the forgiving of your father that needs to happen. You know, and just kind of move forward. You know what I mean? Like dust yourself off and get back out there. This is unfortunate. I love when people protect their peace, man or woman or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I think it's really important. I think this dude did a really good job because, the darkness of those thoughts, like why me? Why not? Why them? Why not me? You know what I'm saying? Like what am I going to do without this person? How do I even breathe? Like, how do I work? How do I do anything? I can't stop thinking of this. Maybe I should have spent more time. Like it's so much regret. And then, so it's his past. He's grieving his past, his loss of his dad. He's living in the present of that feeling. And then the future is the only thing he has hope for. And you're bringing pressure to his future. So it totally played out the way it should have in this moment. I wonder what happened in the future. Now, don't let me beat you up. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm kind of a jerk. That's why we got the good cop, bad cop thing going on. You know what I'm saying? That's how we are in the house. But what?
Okay.
But
We should have an episode on that.
that's fine. But yeah, like you're fine. You're gonna learn your lesson and you're gonna do the right thing.
Yeah.
But a message to people, right? If someone tells you like they can't do it anymore, they can't handle it, let that person go, And I think that's a part of the reason why when Yvette was like, yeah, I need to get out of here and I can't do this. I know what that feels like. You know what I'm saying? Like whenever I told my people, like my mom or whatever, like I can't handle this, I was so serious. I was suicidal. She didn't even know. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't do this. I was so serious. So make sure you protect them people, man. Yep.
All right, babe. How married are you?
Oh man, how married am I? Oh, what did I do? Yesterday, or 2 days ago, what was it? You told me to get gas we switched cars, and then you were like, yo, can you get gas on the way home? My dumb behind, we were right next to a gas station. I drove all the way past the gas station back to the house.
How many gas stations did you pass?
Yeah, 7. Probably like 7. I passed 7. Now, mind you, we live 30 minutes away from anything. So I drove past 7 gas stations, got on a road, and Theo, right, super observant. Dad, we didn't get gas.
When did he tell you? When you were at
Right
home?
when we were on the main road, right? So I was like, I know, I gotta go. So
You did not have to leave.
I ended up, we didn't have a lot of gas left. And I know that from our Black Love episode, like,
Oh.
for our Black Love episode, it's like, why didn't you get gas? You know what I'm saying? That was irresponsible. But you asked me to do it for you, and I think it's different if you ask me to do it. You know what I'm saying? So I drove past our house, went 30 minutes in the opposite direction, and got gas for the car. And came back, and that's how married I am. How married are you, babe?
There's a child at the door.
Can you wait for a second? Come on in. Go ahead, man. How married are you? I didn't say talk. I just said come in.
Well, what do you want? What do you want?
So,
No, I'm not editing this out. Let's go. How married are you? Real quick, babe. Come in, Theo.
I'm so married that when... Wow. Look at him with this chain. and
Crust,
robe.
crust everywhere, all over his face, like a Picasso.
Oh my goodness. How married am I? Theo, what have I done for your dad lately? I don't have my phone either.
Come on, babe.
I'm trying, dude.
Oh, remember that time you took that fuel and then you got all inspired and started cleaning up? You couldn't sleep and you started cleaning? You had to do something for me that day because you were doing so much. You were doing everything.
I don't know. I feel like I'm so married, but this seems really lame to say because I feel like this is just a part of partnership. However, I'm so married that I take care of a lot of like the administrative business side of our business.
Yeah.
So that you can hopefully do more of the creative things. Mm-hmm. And I know like it's on your mind, but I try to help lighten your load in that way. Is that helpful?
That's really good. That's great. You take care of a lot of the very stressful parts of this business.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's really good. And have the conversations. I'm just kind of like, am I going to jail or not?
Yeah. And sometimes I don't know if I should admit this, but I take on his identity. I'm like, hello, I'm Glenn Henry. And they're like, are you? And I'm like, yes. You can't tell me I'm not Glenn Henry. Why can't Glenn Henry sound like a woman?
I like that.
I have had that. And then the lady's like, can I talk to Glenn Henry? So then I have to put Glenn on the phone to be like.
You can always put me on the phone. You don't have to do that.
Yeah. But sometimes you're not around. So I just be like, I'm Glenn Henry.
Which is true because two become one.
Yes.
All right.
And that's just how married we are.
What do you want?
So I was doing my homework right now, and I'm about to water cookie.
Hello there. Y'all all right? So listen real quick. This was heavy on my spirit today, and I want to make sure I'm saying it the right way so that the right person can hear it, right? Whoever you may be. You can still change. Okay? I know lately you may be, and maybe not even lately, maybe for quite some time, you've been making decisions that have not suited you well. Okay, a lot of things that you've done in your past and present don't feel well to you. Maybe you don't treat yourself well. Okay, maybe you don't love well. Maybe you don't allow yourself to be loved. Maybe you've shut yourself off because of maybe trauma or whatever has happened in the past. But you can still change that. If you don't like how you feel, if you don't like some of the situations that you get yourself in, you can still change. The fact that you can recognize that, I hate when I do this. When you say things like that to yourself, that means you know that you can do something different. You can still change. So let's remember this though. There's a saying that if it was easy, everybody would do it, right? Making good choices, making wise choices, being good to yourself, it's hard work. It's easy to be bad. Honey, it's easy to eat bad. It's easy to drink bad. It's easy to be negative. It's easy to give up. It's easy. Doing the work to better yourself, it ain't always easy. It requires time. It requires patience, grace, love. Do you understand that? Compassion for yourself. But you can still change. You can do that. But it is going to take a little bit of time and effort. But you deserve it. Okay? You deserve that. You're tired of making the same decisions. You're tired of the same people you keep putting yourself around. They don't make you feel well. You can still change. But not for nobody else. Only for you. You should never want to change for anybody except you. People can benefit from your good changes, but you're the only one who should make the change for yourself. You understand? Because you're the only one who can do the work. All right? That's it. I just want to encourage you. I know you're tired, but you can change. Okay? Very good. So I hope and I pray that y'all have the most amazing day. But even if you can't have a good one, don't you dare go messing up nobody else's. All right. I love you. I'll see y'all later.